Now back to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show, which is presented to you by Power Planter Earth Augers, the official digging tool. To find the right size for your digging project, visit powerplanter.com. Now here are your hosts, Joey and Holly Baird.
Welcome back to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show. Thank you for coming and tuning in this week. So have you ever put anything in the trash? Has a garbage truck ever drove by your place and put things in the back and it disappeared and you never saw it again? It went to a landfill more than less, unless it was dumped in a ditch somewhere. And that has happened. So landfills are filling up. We are in an age and a society and a time where reduce, reuse, recycle has been driven into our heads, and anybody that's thrifty or aware of items, many people will save things and fill rooms and attics and garages up with items that don't throw that away because I may need that in 8 years. But many things go to a landfill. And,
that's you.
Well, there's things that I haven't used that I saved 3 years ago that I'm using now.
I know.
So there is, many people kind of have the understanding trucks go to a open field, they dump stuff and they put soil on top of it and methane happens. So they vent that and they burn that off, at least in the local landfills that are around our, region here in, southeast Wisconsin. But there are some little known facts that many people are not familiar with when it comes to landfills.
Well, for one is that there are fewer landfills today. However, so back in 1980s, the United States was home to more than 7,600 dumps, but that number has been slashed by 75%.
Dumps? And then did they change landfill because it's a classier word?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And that changed to about 1900. But
so it decreased.
But
okay.
So this is when they tell you the good statistics and that's where they leave it at.
Uh-huh.
Like vote for Joe Schmo because he wants to lower taxes, but then he wants to, I don't know, kick donkeys or something, whatever. So anyway, but it doesn't mean we were producing less waste because the average landfill grew about 4 times in size. So we have less of them, but they're bigger.
So we went from 7,600 to 1,900, but they got bigger even though there's fewer of them.
Right. So, and it doesn't mean that we're producing less waste either.
No, more people, more product. We're in a throwaway society. Hey, it doesn't work. Throw it away when probably, a crafty or a handy person could just rewire XYZ product.
But now we've come to this throwaway society.
Right.
Right. Where it's like, oh, that's broken. Oh, this shirt's torn.
Oh,
whatever.
The cell phone's 3 days old. Let's throw it out and get a new one.
Right. So with that being said, trash production has tripled since 1960. And I mean, that does kind of make sense.
So is the population. It flows with population. Yeah.
So, this waste doesn't decompose quickly, if at all. Landfill excavators are often finding stuff that's 40 years old and newspaper, orange juice cartons, whatever, where you can still see
here's the thing. We encourage people to compost, and the key to composting is you aerate the product or the soil, the kitchen scraps, the lawn clippings, you aerate them and microbial life breaks them down. But if you was to take those items and let's throw some other stuff in there, a glass bottle or whatever the case is, well, let's just take the grass clippings and the kitchen scraps. If you just slam them on top of one another and bury them, the breakdown process is extremely slow. And that's on items that are of nature that will break down eventually. Milk cartons got waxy covers on, all this stuff. If you don't add oxygen to the mix, nothing's going to break down.
Right. And that's the thing is when you see stuff that's this will break down, this is compostable, whether it be a chip bag or your coffee cup or whatever. That means
old clothing, yeah.
That means you literally have to put it in compost. You can't just toss a landfill and it's going to break down. It's not going to make a difference. It's just going to add to the pile. But anyway, so people think that we have room to grow, but not really. They expect that in 50 years, 9 out of 10 of America's largest landfills will be full. So that's something to keep in mind as well.
Well, the landfills, they create gas too. They create a methane. That's why you see on landfills they have pipes in order to basically keep it from exploding.
Yeah, that's correct. And it does the methane gas, which is
and many landfills aren't saving that; they're just burning it off to get rid of it.
Right, and we've seen this driving past our local dump.
Classy it up. It's a Garden Talk radio show. The landfill.
The landfill.
Yeah.
And I think that's where this topic idea came from. So they can find new life. I know there's, like here in the Milwaukee area, there is a ski hill that used to be a landfill that they converted into a ski hill. So that is something that can occur where they take that landfill.
If properly planned ahead.
If planned ahead, yep. And then they can do that. But there's even like golf courses, resorts, like you might not even know. You might go to a resort, you might be sitting on a pile of trash, an old dump.
And if they can utilize that type of area and create something other than just a hill, then we need to do such.
Right. And so now methane gas is a greenhouse gas, and that's something to keep in mind. And so one thing you want to keep in mind when it comes to what you're throwing in the landfill is you shouldn't toss food if you can prevent it. So that what happens is that what's it called? Food is a significant source of methane gas. And so it has 25, methane gas is a greenhouse gas that has 21 times the global warming potential of CO2.
So it's worse, is what you're saying.
Correct.
And I we don't have the statistics, but there is a high percentage of the items in a landfill are food.
Right. And that's the thing is that so this is another reason why you want to prevent having food waste, putting in your trash, having it go to landfill, not only because it's a waste of resources when there's people who are going without food, but also because it's causing this increase in this methane gas.
Now, we are not perfect. We've thrown food scraps in the trash and it's gone to the landfill. So we're not high and mighty above you. We're just introducing information so we all can be more educated at the end of the program.
Right. And it's just something to also keep in mind. If you purchase, we all throw food away. It happens. You have something spoil, you intend to use the bag of lettuce, you shove it in the back of the fridge, whatever happens, and it's going to happen. However, if there's a way you can compost, then you're going to help offset that methane gas.
And you think, well, it's just me. If I compost, it's not going to be that big of a deal. But if you compost and 10,000 other people compost, then that amount of food scraps that once was going to go to the landfill, there's multiple garbage trucks that do not have to, that are empty because of that.
Right. And that's another thing is that, think about your organic waste. Think about I know a lot of people are like reduce, reuse, recycle, whatever. Recycling, yes, recycling is good. However, if you can, instead of buying the plastic water bottles, recycling those, thinking, okay, I'm doing good for the earth, I'm recycling these plastic water bottles, buy a reusable water bottle, buy a filter for your faucet. Many of us are home more now. You can use that filter. You can make some ice, whatever you want to do. Put it in your own reusable bottle so you have nice.
Now I'll go to the defense of those who are listening in farm country. Many people, and then this is just me. I don't know if all of you are the same way. The only thing we ever recycled was metal and aluminum. If it could burn, it got burnt and it disappeared. You can make a lot of things. Grandpa always said you can make a lot of things disappear with a swipe of a match. So, there's a lot of, when you look at the real rural areas and we're in those areas, the proximity to a recycling facility to take a couple of empty water bottles or water jugs, plastic, to get recycled, it doesn't financially or time it doesn't make sense. So you throw them on the burn pile, you throw them in the burn barrel, and they disappear. That's just how it is.
Right.
The reality of life in rural area compared to the life in, city area.
Right. So that's definitely, it depends on your perspective, where you live, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But still, on the farm, you reused a lot of things.
Oh yeah. There's not a farm in this country that doesn't have a shelf, a barn, a building that doesn't have stuff jammed to the ceiling of items that probably never will get used. That was saved from 1972, but there's a chance. There's a chance it may be getting used something for some reason somewhere.
You may have burnt some trash, but you have a pile of whatever.
Yeah, we had a whole little shed of tires.
Or whatever, some nails.
The hay wagon got a tire blew out. We go in the tire shed and we dig around until we found a tire that was compatible with what we were needing, and there you go.
There you go. For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.